Maeya TV. Welcome back for another full day of great interviews. Our first one for today is musician Joel Martin.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Thank you so much for being here with us, Joel.
Thanks for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here.
So tell us a bit about yourself and your music.
Well, I'm a guitarist. I grew up here in Los Angeles, California. I'm a native, born and bred, and I've been playing guitar here for a good portion of my life. And then a number of years ago, I started getting into pedal steel guitar, so I do that around town a lot as well.
Tell us about, you have currently a band that's a tribute band.
Yes. I play guitar and sing in a band called Grateful to the Core, and we are a Grateful Dead tribute band. We love the Grateful Dead and Jerry Garcia, and try to play our favorite versions and periods of their activity.
So what led you to establishing this tribute band?
Just a real passion for the music. If you're unfamiliar with the Grateful Dead, they sort of have their own subculture, and you know, once you get captured by it, it's hard to escape. And being a musician, you know, I tend to put out my emotion and love for things in music and art, and so this just seemed like a very natural thing to do. And luckily, you know, coming up on 2 years ago, I found the current bunch of people that I'm playing with right now, and we just have an incredible time playing this music.
Now, your band is doing really well. What is it that I think draws people to this tribute band?
Well, it's just a love for what the Grateful Dead were about and what they did. You know, they approached music like no other band, and so many of the things that have become normal-place in the industry, they were kind of responsible for starting, and they just came up at the right time in the late 60s and were affecting the entire culture. And so I think a lot of people yearn for that. You know, especially people that got to experience it firsthand in the 60s and the 70s. You know, there's never been anything like it at all. So, you know, you know, we have our band, but there's just a giant culture of tribute bands that are happening right now, you know, for the Grateful Dead specifically. So people are always trying to get that feeling again.
Yeah, I know that tribute bands as a whole are really popular.
Yeah.
And I also see them, like, I know this a local place here that has them like every summer. There's like a whole weeks long of tribute bands, and they always get huge crowds. So people keep coming out even though they know it's not the original band.
Right.
But you always get a crowd, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then in addition to this tribute band, you also work as a session musician.
I do. You know, that's something that's always been in my life. You know, when I was starting to play guitar through my teens, I just started to try to play as much as possible, and would play with a lot of bands in a working capacity. I would get hired to help fill out their stuff. And of course, once I started playing pedal steel, you know, it's such a sort of rare instrument. There aren't a lot of us out there that a lot of people want to add that sound to what they're doing. So I get hired a lot for that, both playing live and doing a lot of recording.
So what is a pedal steel guitar and what makes it sound so unique?
Oh, pedal steel guitars are just beautiful and really fascinating. There is a strange magic that happens because even though it is the technology that is like a guitar, where there's guitar strings and it works on the same electric principles, you play it with a steel bar, and then you change the notes under the bar with your knees, with knee levers and pedals, which is why it's called a pedal steel guitar. And so you can get all these great chord combinations, and it's just really fantastic. And I have a YouTube channel called I Play Pedal Steel, and I have a lot of videos in my shorts, not my shorts, but in my shorts on the YouTube, and so you can go and hear it, and it's really cool. And then I played on a single by a band called Stone Sour that was members of Slipknot, and that was a #1 Billboard record. And that's out on, you can hear that everywhere in the world. It's pretty good.
So how'd you get into this particular music, this instrument?
Well, it was interesting because living out in LA, especially in the 90s, there weren't a lot of pedal steel guitarists. Like I actually do not remember ever hearing about the instrument until I was even hearing about it until I was in my late 20s, which is odd. But then I started getting the pedal steel on it, and I was a big fan of a guy named Matthew Sweet, and he had a record called 100% Fun that had a steel guitarist named Greg Lees on it. And the sound was just mesmerizing. And, again, like I was saying about getting into the Grateful Dead, it was just like when I feel really deeply drawn and passionate to something as an artist, like I want to do that and be involved. And so I just was like, wow, it just hit me, and I was like overwhelmed by that sound and had to be a part of it. And I didn't want to, because I had, at that point, I was in my mid-30s and had a life as a guitar player, and didn't really feel like going back to the woodshed and learning a whole new instrument, especially because pedal steel is usually regarded as one of the hardest instruments to play. Because you are, like drums, you're using all 4 limbs at all times. And but I had to do it, so I just went to work real hard and wanted to be great at it.
And was it as difficult as you'd heard?
Worse. Much worse. I mean, I've been at it pretty actively for just short of 20 years, and it still blows my mind every time I sit down, what am I going to do, I mean, I didn't mean that. I mean, I'm in total control all the time.
Or the people who are going to hire you, you know what you're doing.
Yeah. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. No, it's a wild beast, and I have a really fun special old guitar, because as we were talking about Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead, he went through a spell also where he became infatuated with steel guitar, and in 1969 he bought this steel guitar, and my guitar that I bought, and this is sort of before I was even a Deadhead, so I didn't realize it, was built 20 guitars before his guitar was, by the same makers. So, that's a fun thing. It's a really beautiful vintage piece.
So when you do like tributes, you have this thing that really matches what he had.
Yeah, well, we, it's an interesting thing because there's so much to do when you're in a Grateful Dead band, that we actually don't really even make that a part of the sound that we do normally. Normally, I just play guitar and sing. However, tomorrow night in Long Beach, our band is playing at DiPiazza's, and I am bringing the pedal steel out, and we are doing a special set of Jerry Garcia pedal steel music, which will be really fun.
That's great.
Yeah, and I'll also be playing with our good friends Hard Rooster that are playing before our set. So it's going to be a really fun night. So come on down to DiPiazza's. It's $10, 8 to midnight. We got all your Friday night entertainment covered.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're being booked all the time for this.
We have a lot of great things happening. We're actually about to do a big tour in Oregon, which we can't wait to do. We love our Oregon people, and we're going to be up in Portland and Eugene and Klamath Falls, and then we're also going to be hitting Humboldt, our first time in Humboldt, and we've gone up to the Northern California areas many times. Played in San Francisco and the East Bay. We love Sonora and Sacramento. We have a lot of good friends up in Sacramento.
And then, so you're asked to do session work on a lot of different groups. A lot of them coming to you because you have this specialty. You can play this instrument. Not many people can.
Right.
So are there any like particular kind? What kind of music is this instrument used in?
It's mostly used in country. That's where it kind of came out. That's the tradition is sort of the Nashville country scene. But and it had its heyday, kind of in the 60s and 70s and into the 80s. But then as sort of country pop started coming out more, a lot of producers stopped using steel because they were like, oh, that's just the tired old country sound. But it was in country rock, a lot of bands that we all, know and love from the 60s and 70s, like the Byrds, used pedal steel a lot. Like I said, Neil Young. So it's out there in modern popular culture, but it lends itself to country music really well. But I really like to use it in other forms too. I play in any kind of rock band or jam bands we've been talking about a little bit. I think the pedal steel is the most psychedelic instrument of all. It really can have a floaty, dreamy quality to it, unlike anything else.
Is it popular in like the hippie movement?
Yes, exactly. Nailed it.
But it's also getting a resurgence now.
Yeah. There's more young people playing it than I've ever seen while I've been playing. It's interesting how regional it is. It still is, very based in that country tradition. So in areas of the country where country is still more of a popular thing, like if you go out to the South or something, there's still a lot of like dance halls that have country nights. And so there's a lot of good players out here. But here in Los Angeles, there are a lot of great promoters that are doing their own country nights and, several nights a week or a special night in a month. There's a lot of good country shows with a lot of good talent. And we get a lot of touring people that'll come through LA and do these nights too. So there are a lot of fun special things going on.
Yeah. Most people don't associate country with California, but a lot of like influential country musicians came from here.
Oh yeah, well the 60s and the 70s, you had the Bakersfield sound, and so Buck Owens and Merle Haggard and people like that, and that's the California thing, a little more stripped down than the big Nashville sound that was happening with like a lot of backing vocalists or strings. The bands here in Bakersfield were a little more just raw and balls to the walls kind of thing. So it's huge. And, of course, being the entertainment capital of the world, there were in the 50s and 60s a lot of great country TV shows and stuff. So, a lot of stuff always happened here in LA that a lot of people don't realize.
And there's still that scene here now.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
So what do you think is bringing young people back to this sound?
I think, a lot of people are just, maybe a little tired of what music has become over the last 25 or 30 years. It's a big generalization because actually right now some of my favorite stuff is in the EDM and IDM worlds. But a lot of people have just seen a commercialization of rock and pop and all that stuff, and it's just great to see a small combo playing really heartfelt music, playing real instruments and really singing and doing their thing. There's always room for Charlie XCX, but people really like to go back and listen to Loretta Lynn.
So what kind of music that's coming out now are you really enjoying?
There's so many people. Pink Panthers is wonderful. I really like Alice in Wonderland. let's see, there's just all kinds of folks, you know, different genres. What's another great record that I've been into? Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I listen to all kinds of different music all the time.
Mm. Yeah, you said you enjoy EDM. That's really different than your usual style of music that you play.
Yeah.
So you're still always absorbing all these different influences.
Always, yeah. There's just so much good stuff. You know, anything with quality and heart, you know, I think I get into.
And do you have any music coming out soon that we should listen to?
Well, my Grateful Dead band, Grateful to the Core, actually did put out 3 songs that we have streaming everywhere except for Spotify because they are not friends of artists. So, but anywhere else you go, you can find 3 songs by Grateful to the Core, which are Grateful Dead Chestnuts, great songs that everybody loves. And we had started this in hopes of finishing a complete record. And so that's always on the table. We might be finishing that up this year, hopefully.
And where can our audience stay updated on where you'll be touring?
Well, there's 2 websites if everybody can stick with it. I have my own Joel Martin music because I actually play solo as well, and I do a lot of Grateful Dead music and classic rock solo all over the West Coast. You know, I'm playing in Northern California a lot. I have some shows in Placerville and Sacramento coming up, and the Santa Barbara area. I go out to New Mexico and Arizona quite often, so you can stick to joelmartinmusic.com, or you can get my band at gratefultothecore.com, and all of our full schedules are there.
Thank you so much, Joel, for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Started our day off great.
Well, you know, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, viewers, for tuning in. Now stay around because we're going to have a lot more great interviews coming up. Bye.